All right, so we are getting started with remote learning. And one of my basic things is whenever you do a video chat, you should always have Google Slides and you should invite the students to edit your slides. So you'll notice I don't have any slides really, I just have the 2 slides. So, because I love collaborative Google Slides. So that's what I've done is I've created Google Slides. I've made it so that you have edit access. And what this allows me to do is whenever I'm doing a video chat, I can ask a question, you can add it onto the slides. If I have something that I like, I'm just making this up right now, you know, as you kind of go with the flow, I can just make a slide and I can project that information on the go. So I highly recommend. So if you would just go ahead and add a slide, go ahead and add a slide and just say what you're doing for remote learning. Ooh, found the participant slide. So you will notice that is my trick, is I actually make my slides in the layouts. Because if I'm gonna be doing collaborative Google Slides, I don't necessarily, I do all the time where I have all my slides there anyway. But you know, this way I can just say, let's have conversation, let's build this around conversation, and I slow reveal my slides while I invite you to be in the presentation with me. All right, cool.
And the question is, what do we do for remote learning?
Yeah, what's your situation? I've been
okay.
This on the sign in, and I don't think 2 people are doing the same thing. You know, like
right.
One school, they said half the kids are going to be in the auditorium, the gym, and half of them will be in class. They're still hanging on the wall. I don't get that. Okay. There's no good answers. I'm glad I don't have to be the decision maker. I'll tell you what. All right. Eric, that is a great question. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's been and they've been talking to us about like certain expectations as far as like minutes go. So like, you know, your class can't have the students do, you know, you can't give them, let's say 4 hours of work per week, but they've been kind of vague and kind of contradictory on like what the minimum and maximum time limit expectations are. So like, as far as planning goes, it's been tricky because I don't know essentially how much time has been earmarked for my class and my, you know, all the other classes they're taking and what the schedule is going to look like. So trying to plan for that, you know, like, will they do asynchronous with a 30-minute synchronous session? It's just been real challenging trying to figure out how to prepare for
I'm going to, for my geometry class, is I'm going to create a Google Classroom just for quizzes. I love quizzes because it automatically imports into the Google Classroom, but it imports out of 100, you know? And so what I do is I start by list all the standards as topics. And then I go and I find, look, I'm not making this stuff. I don't have time for that. I need to spend my time and energy interacting with students. You know, whatever time I put into making a quiz will not be as good as putting that same time into interacting with a student. So I'm going to go find some websites and some YouTube videos and things for each of those topics, right? And good enough is good enough. And then I'm going to go to the quizzes, and whatever topic you type in, a minimum of 25,000 come up. So I'm not going to make this. I'm just going to find ones that are good enough. You can click edit so you can customize it if you want to, because most of them have way too many questions. You know, Joe Bowler says, you know, if doing 30 problems worked, we'd all be good at math. So I'm gonna cut those down. We just need to do a few of them, and then I'm gonna post those into Google Classroom. Now the only rub is they've now changed it back to 2 weeks due date instead of 30 days. So now the trick with the quizzes, apparently, is if you go in before it expires, you can extend the due date. Just so you know, for whatever that means. But part of my class is going to be self-paced. Not all of it, I have a slide for that. See, I'm all set. See, I'm not stuck to my slides. Part of my class is going to be self-paced. I can't synchronously, treat my class like it was face-to-face. And I think it's really an opportunity to take advantage rather than to think of this, this sucks. Well, yeah, it sucks. But, it forces me to do things in a different way that I think is going to perpetuate in ways that are beneficial in the long run, that we're going to approach things differently. One of them is, I don't think we should have, the time has changed now that we have individual devices. Why do I need every student's learning due on the same day? Why is everyone learning the same thing on the same day? As Thomas Guskey says, there is no average time to learn something. So now that I'm not stuck with a bell schedule, I can start rethinking, like, how do I give students the flexibility? Now, I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to get work done at home. There's a lot of distractions just with my own kids, or, I could go take a nap. Sometimes I do that. It feels real good. But just other reasons, it's just hard to be at home, and if I'm having family stress, like, sometimes you get up in the morning and you're yelling at everybody, and then I don't know, I just can't be productive that day. It's just hard. I mean, you never know. And when we're all doing this shelter in place, and even if you're not shelter in place, you're still at home more together more often, which just puts a lot of stress and pressure on the family. So some days you're just feeling stressed and pressured, and I can't function. I just can't. I'm just telling you, I can't. And so just having this idea that we need to have some more grace, I've got that in here too somewhere. Right? Show grace is understanding, like, yeah, it'd be real nice if everyone was doing the same thing on the schedule at the same time. And even if you did want to do that, which I'm suggesting, that was never awesome in the first place. We did that for logistics reasons, not for good for learning reasons. But now when you consider, like, we just don't know if they're having some trauma, they're just stressed with what's going on at home. Then it allows me to kind of back off a little. And also helps me to stress out a little less also. And so if I've got this kind of self-paced, not all, not none, some of my class is self-paced. That allows some students to move further ahead, some students to go at a pace that's good for them. And one of the things I learned from Jo Boaler is being fast is not the same as being smart. In fact, some of the smartest people in the world are really slow thinkers, and they just want time to think through the process. And it might take them a couple of days to do it, but they're going to do it better.
I teach U.S. history, and I read that Mathematical Mindset book on your recommendation, and yeah, I love Jo Boaler, and I passed it on to my math teacher, and I read, so that was a great recommendation, even for a non-math teacher.
It's a book about teaching. That makes me
That was how you sold it originally, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot, and I was very happy that I did.
A lot of times, the price fluctuates on Amazon all the time, but a lot of times it's like $8. So just get it.
So, Alice, I have a question. If you do this self-paced asynchronous teaching, what opportunities do you provide to build that community of learners that you can do when you do synchronous?
Love that. And the point is that some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Notice it says what portion. Not 0 and not 100. What are you gonna do? There's no right answer. But I don't believe in this personalized learning garbage, because personalized learning just means self-paced. Personalized about it. And a lot of times, because the computer's driving the bus, the teacher loses the control and ability to differentiate and to do a lot of these things. So I'm not a real big fan of like Alex Math Program or some of these because of that. I mean, it would be fine if I could just piece out some modules and I could, as a teacher, say, you're right, these questions are ridiculous. I'm going to assess you verbally. We have to be flexible in how we assess. It can no longer really look like a multiple choice test. Multiple choice is great for formative assessment, something to just kind of self-check. But when I really want to know if they know it, they're going to Google it. Don't be ignorant. They will. So you're going to have to find some other ways to assess. And so, but in particular, when I'm working with people who are, like, I have some friends who are taking college classes, and the college is having them do the remedial math on this ALEKS program. And I'm trying to help them. And it's just really frustrating because I'm a math major and I know what the answer is. And if you don't type it in exactly the way that they want it, they mark you wrong and they bump you back. It is demoralizing and frustrating. And it's like, it would be nice if I could just say to the teacher, hey, I got these right. You can see it's an equivalent expression. But the system doesn't let you do that. Or, how many times have you ever, you're talking with a student and they didn't do well on the test, but you're talking like, this, you had some text anxiety, or I don't know. And I'm always like, I just assessed you verbally. That counts. You don't have to write it down on the paper. So what I like about kind of piecemealing it together is, like on the quizzes, if there's a bad question or they just made a stupid error, they don't have to start over. They can take a screenshot, add it to the Google Classroom assignment, and just in the private comments explain to me why they should have got it right. Oh my gosh, that's all I really want anyway, right? Can you explain it? Well, that's even better than I wanted. So I'm going to do some of my class. Now, if you're just getting going with doing blended, I would recommend that more of your class be the self-paced, where you go find some resources, some digital quizzes, and have more of your class that way, because you can only do so much. I highly recommend you assign yourself less things that you're touching, but you're doing a really good job of building community, of giving feedback. Those things that you are spending time on, you're really interacting with students, because it is so important that they feel like you're present. If they turn something in and you don't reply for 3 days, you've lost them. It's just like the gap between finishing something or just asking for help and getting an interaction is very short. The longer the gap, the less they care. It's like, the problem is we tend to assign ourselves too much paperwork that we can't keep up. And then those interactions and those opportunities are missed. So I'd rather myself focus on, doing that community and the collaborative things, but they take longer. Well, that's okay, because I got some of this class, like, whatever, you guys, it's over there. I'm doing all the standards. I'm doing them all. I don't want to do them all, but I've got them all in there. That allows me to relax and say, okay, this is what I have time for. I think you should set a schedule and stick to it. You don't feel guilty. You're like, no, I don't answer emails after 3 o'clock. I don't check Google Classroom after 3 o'clock, whatever it is. I think in current situation,
I think schedule is good. Yeah.
Hard to do, but very good.
Hard to do, which is why I'm giving you permission. No, like you have to guard your time fiercely.
Otherwise, right? So
Exception, your schedule's toast. But I think we're not going to be able to do school hours. And I don't want to do things at 5 o'clock, but the truth and reality is some kids don't have any support until their parents come home. And some parents don't want their kids on the computer by themselves when they're not home. And so offering up some office hours or some synchronous session or something, maybe after dinner, even if it's 20 minutes, to just try and connect with those kids that for some reasons, well, like I said, their parents are working and that complicates things. They might have to be watching their siblings or who knows. So just picking my schedule, and I probably won't be a traditional schedule. Give yourself a 2-hour break in the middle of the day. Don't you work constantly either. Like, it's so draining to be in front of a screen. Now, I'm choosing to do this webinar in my kitchen because I can stand up. If you don't have a standing desk, I don't want you to go out and spend money, but get a standing desk if you can. It makes all the difference with your energy. But think about how much time the kids are going to be sitting.
Yes. I like what you said, that sitting is worse than smoking.
Oh, look, I didn't make that up. Sitting is worse than smoking.
I know. Yeah.
I think the first thing to really consider is, how are you going to communicate what you're doing for your class? So when we're getting started, how am I going to communicate? Do I have a slide for this? The community. I think I was thinking about this as I was driving, you know, since I was by my house this morning. I got this stuff ready, but then I think so this is why I like collaborative slides, right? I can just make a slide on the fly. How will you communicate how your class is starting? So when we were face to face, when we were in the fall, we at least had an opportunity to get to know the students first, to say, here's how I do everything. And I posted a question today on Facebook. I said, hey, you know, I'm doing this remote learning Google Classroom workshop, not the video thing today, but the workshop that I'm doing. I go, what things, what tips do you have maybe that you think I should communicate? Because I obviously don't know everything. You know, I'm listening to all of these teachers, and not one of them I can tell is repeating what their school's doing. We're doing this A/B thing. At the same time, I'm gonna teach live and hybrid. That's
Wow.
more than double work, if you ask me. 1 + 1 is not 2. That's hard. You know, and so with everybody doing something different, we're gonna go back to, you know, showing yourself some grace. Just, what's the point in worrying and stressing? It doesn't fix anything. And so you say, look, I'm going to do the best I can. And what I get through is what I get through. And I can't go as fast and I can't do as much. You just can't. You can't redo your curriculum overnight. That's silly. So anyway, so someone posted on there to hide the notifications in Google Classroom, and I vehemently disagree. Do not hide the notifications, because again, with the, you know, wanting to be able to interact with students and be quick to respond. So I have in Google Classroom, let me switch over. In Google Classroom on the stream, if you click on the settings cog, the default for classwork on the stream is condensed notifications. And you can hide them. And I don't want you to do that. Don't do that. Don't do condensed. Condensed is the worst, like for reals. Out of sight is out of mind. But if you show attachments and details, what that does, let me show you when I go to the stream. Scroll down. You'll see it shows the entire assignment where there's no clicking, because out of sight is out of mind. The thing where people get confused, in my opinion, is they think this is their website. And it's real frustrating because you can't organize it. Right? So it's like, you got to remember, this is not your website. This is not where you're communicating what you're doing, because that is frustrating. It moves. This is where you ask questions and interact. So a couple of things, 3 reasons why I love this. It's not out of sight, out of mind. You see the whole thing. Go to the classwork page, you can't see the entire set of directions. That's important. The other part I think is important is this class comments. If you don't have show attachments and details, you might as well burn your class comments. They're hidden, they're not in a good place, you can't see that anyone interacted. So what I do at the end of every day, I enjoy doing this. I go to the stream in my Google Classroom and I start to scroll. Now you'll see here it says 0 turned in, 102 assigned, and 2 are graded. This is my goal. I want 0 turned in. That's what I want it to look like, 0 turned in. So then I scroll down a little more. Did anyone leave any comments? This is my chance to interact with the students and give some feedback, or just jump in and be lighthearted about the assignment. How do we have interaction around the assignment if I've hidden it? Otherwise, the comments, no one will ever see them, honest to goodness.
Now, why is your goal 0 turn in? Does it refer to students' work? Yeah.
Because remember, there's no average time to learn something, and the gap between finishing something and getting feedback is very small. The bigger it gets, the less they care. So you'll notice I don't wait till 102 people turned this in. 2 turned it in. I jumped in, gave feedback.
Got it. Okay.
Without Google Classroom, that was impossible. I wasn't, hey, who wants to hand in something right now early? That's ridiculous. Right? You're like, no, I'm taking it all at once and I'm putting it in a folder. And someone tomorrow's like, oh, hey, I did this late. And you're like, your head's about to explode because it's so hard. What am I going to do with that piece of paper? I've got a folder over here. I'm already done with that. It's just a completely different mentality of thinking. But digitally, especially remotely, I'm spending my time looking for opportunities to interact with students. And when a student turns something in, that's an opportunity to interact. Now, I'm not scrolling forever. If it's really late, I have other systems for that. But I literally enjoy doing this at the end of the day. I get my beverage. I have some hot tea right now. And I sit down and this is how I decompress. I'm a teacher. I don't like to listen to myself talk. I like to interact with students. I like the aha moments. So this is my idea of a good time. Did anyone do any work? Do they want my help? Do they want my help? Like for reals, right? So I'm like, okay, 0 turned in. Cool. Anyone want to like ask me a question? No. Right. 1 person turned this in. So I can click on that. I see that she left me a note. I try to always include their name. I try to. Doesn't mean I always do, but I try to always include their name. It makes them think it's a psychological trick. Makes them think you care about them, except you do. So it. So it's pretty quick for me. I use some code that automatically gives them credit so that all I have to do is return. And since I've returned it before, I go and I grab the return comment I already did. I don't wait for everybody to return. To turn it in, to return it. I do it a little bit at a time because it shows I'm paying attention. But I can only do so much. So I try to reduce the number of things that I'm having to have these interactions on, but I do a really good job at it. And I think less is more. I mean, as students, I like to do this just to be funny. I meet a kid and I'm like, hey, what percentage of your work is busy work? At first, they will joke, all of it. They'll back off and give some number between 65% and 85%. Well, 65 to 85% of their work is probably not busy work, but it's perceived as busy work. Perceived as busy work because we play the game of school. Like I assign it, you do it, I smack you on it by giving you a grade, and then we move on to the next thing. That's not a learning cycle. That's the cycle of collecting points. So I'm breaking that cycle. I'm saying, okay, I'm going to interact with you. I'm going to give you some feedback. And if I do give you feedback, I require you reply to it. That's very hard to do, impossible to do with paper. It's not such a big deal here. What I do is I return it without a score, and I ask them, please resubmit. So and then I'm in there, and if you're good at responding and giving feedback, that builds relationships and connections. But if you're slow at it, you're only wasting your time.
And the students' time, right?
Yeah, so I'm just scrolling, like, did anyone ask a question on this? No, we're good. Okay, that was my comment, obviously. I enjoy going through and seeing if there's any class comments. And I love the fact that it gives me the count, like 2 people are done. You notice I already did 3 of them. And I'm gonna do these 2 in a minute when we're done. I don't scroll forever just looking for it anytime anyone's ever turned something in. I have some different processes for that. And that's one of my reasons I say you should make a new Google Classroom every unit or every semester. Or not every semester, every 6 weeks, every grading cycle. Shorter.
That makes a lot more sense now, seeing your workflow in this.
When I go over to, well, whatever it's, I archive it. I'm like, I basically shut down the previous unit.
Oh, the kids, can the students access that archived?
So if it's archived, they can see it, but they can't.
Oh, okay.
They can't turn anything in. They can't leave comments. Now, if I've got an assignment from a previous unit that I still have some students that are working on it, I can reuse post to this class, suck it in. I can assign it to some students and not everybody, but I need to keep moving forward. I mean, it'd be nice to have a theory that I could just do everything all time and turn it in whenever you feel like it. We're not yet there. I think, you know, the Google Classroom gives us some ability to progress to learn at your pace, but we're not at the point where I'm still one person. I can still only manage so much. So I'm going to do my Google Classroom in short chunks so I can archive it. And next year, when I reuse posts, I want to reuse the same assignment. I'm only having to scroll and reuse out of a small chunk instead of the whole year. Now, I love and enjoy scrolling the stream. It tells me if anyone's done any work. It tells me how I can interact and give comments.
So you don't really use the classwork tab much, I guess?
And that's the point, is you have to train the kids. What I literally do, no joke, every day, I type, go to the classwork page. It's unfortunate, but out of sight is out of mind. And so that's why it gives the impression that the class, I can't organize the stream and it's frustrating. Yeah, it's not designed to be that way. You're supposed to organize the classwork page, but the classwork page is not your home page. Let me show you a hack. But I say, go to the classwork page. Here's my Monday 8-3 agenda. And you know, guys, my best tip is to number all of your assignments, right? So I'm going to say, you know, you're going to do number 007 and number 008 today. And I left you feedback on number 003. And I like to always fire up a Screencastify video. And even if it's 2 seconds where I just wave.
Oh,
It is essential that they feel like they have some sort of a personal connection and a teacher. So when I make digital materials, I always have a very short video, like literally 2 seconds is awesome. Hey guys, have fun. Peace out. Perfect. It doesn't have to be intense, but it does need to have you in it in some small capacity. You know, you don't need to make all the instructional videos. You're just going to need to make sure that you're part of the class.
and the video goes in classwork, correct? Not on the stream.
Well, it's just a greeting for the agenda. So I might, this won't show, so I'll just, it just is what it is. So I'm going to turn on Screencastify. I do my webcam. Hey, you guys, it's Monday. So what we're working on today is number 7 and number 8. And I went through and gave you feedback on number 3. Like, a lot of you are missing the negative. Okay, so go back and look at that feedback that I gave you because you're missing the negative. So, yeah, have a good day, you guys. Bye. Okay, how long was that?
Less than 10 seconds.
21 seconds. But, you know, it's not something that goes with my assignment. It's my daily greeting. Should I just, can I fire up a video for 20 seconds? Like, don't do a minute. Just give a quick hello. Guys, this is what we're doing today. These are the things I think you might, you know, stumble on. If you're going to go over 30 seconds, make another one. The first one's just like, hey guys, I hope it's exciting today. The second one's like, okay, this is where I think you're going to get stuck. Do it in short bursts. I'm always a big fan because otherwise you pause and you think about what you're going to say, and now your video is 3 times as long as it needs to be. So if you keep them really, really short, you cut out the dead air, you cut out the repeating yourself, you cut out saying it actually saves a lot of seconds cumulatively. And what's awesome is that this saves to Google Drive when I use the Screencastify. So this is my Monday morning greeting. And so back in the assignment, I just add from Google Drive.
It has a link to Google Classroom too, right? Directly.
There it is. And you know what, I'm not really, I'm just posting that in there. It's not gonna stay at the top, but you know, just every day that I think about what do I wanna say to my students today? And I create something like this. And I tell them to go to the classwork page. I'm gonna post this even though it is in a real class that I'm doing. Let's delete it. Because then what I want to do is I want to click these 3 dots and copy the link.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where am I going to communicate that? Where am I going to communicate that? You should have always had a classroom website. I got started teaching in 1999, and I'm almost positive in 2000, the next year, every teacher at my district was required to make a website. Now they had a specific, really awful platform that we all had to use because at the time, there wasn't Wix or Google Sites. These things didn't exist, and they were, required a lot of training. But every single teacher in the district was required to have one. That hasn't changed. You should have a website for your classroom because it's parent facing. And by the way, your website can be a Google Slides. It doesn't have to be a full-on website. You can create Google Slides.
Well, what about if you just leave it in the classroom too, and the students access classroom?
Because parents can't see it. Because I can't make Classroom do what I want it to do. Classroom is what it is, right? The stream's gonna move. It's gonna be the way that it is. I have a little bit of control over the classwork page because I can do topics, but I can't make it visual. I can't put things side by side.
Right.
So I would recommend, first of all, I hate recommending people spend money. This is going to be the best $12 you've spent ever. You just go to domains.google.com. Go to domains.google.com and buy something short. My friend, her name is Sharon Motzenbacher, and I love her. She has everyone call her Ms. M. Ms. Motz. She has her call Ms. Motz. You know, because, you know, if your name's hard to spell or it's really long, remember, we'd rather just them get to the web page quickly. So you want to buy some sort of a, you know, keelersclass.com short. It's $12 a year. And then I'm going to redirect it. I'm going to do a redirect. I'm going to redirect it to my Google Slides, my Google Sites, my WordPress, my Wix. What are you using for your website? I don't care. I literally don't care what you use for your website. But you should have one. You should have something that communicates your class visually. Something that communicates your class with no login. Because that's how parents are going to be able to see the Google Classroom. They can't see the Google Classroom without logging in for their kid. Don't tell me about the guardian summary. I could rant on that. So what I want to do, if you want to use a Google site, great. Use a Google Slides, great too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a slide. I'm going to call it Monday Agenda 8.3. I'm going to say, click here for agenda. Let me get rid of this. Let me zoom in. Click here. Control K. What did I just link to? I linked to the agenda that I made in Google Classroom. So remember over in Google Classroom, I did the 3 dots and I copied the link. So even if it gets moved, so what I like about it being in Google Classroom on the stream is the class comments. Students can ask questions about the agenda. That's where we can have interactivity, is if I do put it on the stream, we can have interactivity about it, but I'm not organizing it here. I'm going to organize it somewhere else. How am I going to communicate my class? So then over here on your Wix, on your WordPress, on your Google site, on your Google Slides, I don't really care. You have something that says, this is what we're doing today.
So is your goal for this, you said, again, parent facing? So your audience on this website or slide would be parents?
It is yes and no. Yes, But I mean, even still with the Google Classroom, I can't control how it communicates.
Mhm.
So when I have a Google Slides for the students, or I have a Google Sites for the students, I communicate what it looks like. I can make it visual. I can put things
Mhm.
side by side.
So
Right.
would you direct your students to your website first, and then they can jump into Google Classroom, whatever you're using from that? Is that the kind of work? Okay.
Yes. So I
And
would
this,
put the link on as a material with no topic at the top of the classwork page. Like, start your day here. And so, and for the reason that I want the students to be able to see it, but then the parents can see it also.
so if you do the slides as a website, it's published to the web, so there is no login required, right?
No login required regardless, but you're right. I agree with you that publish to the web's the way to go. So click publish.
And it doesn't require a login.
That's the link that I make the redirect.
Mhm.
So I'm going to
Okay.
go buy, I'm going to go to domains.google.com. I'm going to spend $12 and I'm going to buy keelersclass.com, and then it allows me to forward. It's real simple. It allows me to forward to whatever. So you can have it forward to Google Slides. You can have forward it to, your website, your Google Sites, your Wix, your Weebly, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. But then when I make a new class, because remember, I want you to make a new class every unit or every grading period. Well, you don't communicate through Google Classroom anyway. That's not a communication. It's not a website.
Mhm.
So then I just post the new code on my website. I'm like, now we're using this one.
Mhm. Mhm.
The other thing you can do is you can just download your roster out of one Google Classroom and literally copy and paste it in about 2 seconds into the new Google Classroom. So,
How does the domain connect with the Google Slides that you publish to the web?
well, in this particular case, I copy this link
Mhm.
to Google Slides or whatever my website is.
Mhm.
I go to, and you could also just use free tinyurl.com or bit.ly. You could use one of these.
Okay.
I maybe am a little narcissistic. I just like to have more control. When I use the domains.google.com, I can change my mind. So I'm like, start off using slides. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm using slides. It's easy, right? It's quick and dirty way to get into to make a class website. But then later you're like, okay, I'm convinced. I'm upgrading. I'm going to be using a Google Sites. I'm going to do Google Sites or Wix. Okay. Slides is a great entry point for anybody. Like, have a class website, just use Google Slides. Easy. Sitting in your Google Drive, easy to edit. So then what I do, if I'm like, okay, now I'm ready. I'm ready to learn something new. I'm going to upgrade. I get the link to my Wix or whatever website. And then I go back to domains.google.com and I just change the redirect. I delete out the slides link and I paste the Wix link and I hit save, and instantly my redirect now goes to my new spot.
I see.
The problem with a bit.ly or a tinyurl is once you make it,
Mm.
you can't edit it.
Right, right. Okay, thanks for
Don't
explaining this.
feel pressured to spend money. I mean, it's fine. Use the free, bit.ly, that's fine.
Alice, am I late?
You are late, but
What
that,
is this? I thought it started at 9 Pacific time.
Mountain time, I think, or Central.
oh my gosh, it should be, what time?
It doesn't start, you're talking, this is teaching remotely, right? You told me
Can't.
9 a.m. Pacific time.
All right, hold on. I'll start over. You're right. And you even asked me. I thought I looked at, here's my problem, is my phone is in Kansas time. My computer is in California time. And then I have 3 places I am updating them. So I'll just do it again. Just hang tight. I'll just keep going. I'll start over.
Oh, Isn't it recorded? Can I just watch the recording? I don't want you to do this twice.
Expecting a bunch of people to come. I just
Oh, I won't be the only one, do you think?
that's the problem. Nor can I copy things correctly, apparently. Well, what I do is on the email each week to keep the formatting is I edit it.
Yeah.
So I edited the previous webinar that was at 8 instead of 9.
Okay.
Didn't edit it right.
Okay.
I'm working on getting some systems, and I have an assistant that I pay, to help me with things, but I feel like I need to get my system down before I bring her in. And then I'm going to have her check all my stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Sorry about that. You were right.
It's okay.
Was it?
These things happen. It's okay.
Yeah. What did it say on the Zoom? Because I looked at the Zoom when you asked. I don't know. My calendar does say 9. I thought I looked at my calendar. Sometimes you just, in your mind, where is this?
Before I send you those emails, I check, I go back, make sure I didn't misread it, because I don't want to bother you.
Yeah,
But
why is it not showing me my, why? It's because I'm in a Zoom meeting, so it won't let me see the meetings. Of course not. Okay. I am going to experiment next week with doing them in a Google Meet and then adding the calendar invite. Marianne, you're not leaving early. You're good. And then I'll have the recording because I'm just going to keep going and I'm going to start over. I'm going to experiment with doing a Google Meet invite to calendar. And I don't like Zoom, to be honest. I've never liked it. The only reason I use it is because it allows for registration. That's the only reason I use it. Otherwise, it drives me nuts. So you'll let me know if this is better or worse, because what that will do is we'll take out one less thing that I'm trying to copy it correctly.
okay.
So I'll make it on my calendar. It'll be on my calendar, and I'll give you the link to my calendar. So we should be on the same page then.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it. Maybe it's terrible. Okay, so but back to this is, let me fill you in, Mimi, is you should have a class website. I'm gonna reiterate this again. I'm gonna do all of this again. But your website can just be a Google Slides.
Okay.
Right? And so Monday I put my agenda, and then Tuesday, actually I like this layout with the two of them. Right?
Okay. Are you starting over now, or are you going to wait until 9 o'clock? Or
I've got to jump out of here anyway, so you can start over.
Go through this for those who I just
because it's not, I'm early. I was early. I was supposed to get on at 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is 11 a.m. Central time, and we've got 6 minutes. So, are there going to be other people coming? Probably.
So let me finish this one from the one that I thought was an hour earlier. So hold tight. Just hold tight, man. Hold tight.
Yeah.
So here's the thing is, right, if I use my Google Sites with the Tuesday, I do need to make sure that Tuesday is in the first position. You want the first thing they see is today. And then they can see the previous days in the previous slides. But when you do the file published to the web, it's always that link is always gonna show that first slide first. They'll still have access to the other slides. I'll show you what that looks like. Did I not grab it? Copy it, paste it. See, it went to Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can back up one down here and it'll go back to Monday. Like they'd all be there. So it's just a quick and dirty way to make a website.
Okay.
So what kind of stuff are you putting in the parent corner box you have over there?
So in the parent corner is my note to the parents. And you can also add a video. Zoomed in weird or something. Let me get out of this. Escape. No, I can't. Get to the X. When in doubt, control minus. Yeah, no, the Parent Corner is something I've been advocating for years. You can find it in at least one of my books. You know, when we make our directions, the directions are always for the student. Well, now that we're doing remote learning, it's even more important that we're like, okay, parent, this is why we're doing it. This is what we're doing. This is how you can support it, because now we really are partnering with our parents. So how are you going to communicate? Google Classroom's great, but then how are you communicating with parents?
Right.
So now when you're thinking about, you have to have your class website that really is parent facing, but I want the kids to start there. So I might embed my daily video on there. I might put my Bitmoji, you know, and I can design it, make it look nice. Like, this is my classroom. My website is my classroom. And then I can link back to Google Classroom. But I would ask them to start on the site.
Are the students going to have access to the Parent Corner?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, what I was recommending previously was that you even just put the Parent Corner right in the description of Google Classroom, because this was for littles. This is in my littles book. If you've got a kindergarten or first grader, they probably can't read too good. So some adult is helping them. If they're looking at Google Classroom, there's an adult around. So in my littles book, I recommend that in the description, you write it as whatever the kids are doing for the kid. Like, we always write directions for the kid. We never write directions for the parent. So then you push enter a few times and you write Parent Corner, and you, in 1 to 3 sentences, explain it to the parent using bigger words. You're no longer trying to communicate to the student. Now you have a different audience. What would you say? What would keep them from emailing you? Because now they understand what's going on. Otherwise, they have to interpret it. Sometimes it's not so easy. A lot of times we put little to no directions because the kids know they're there every day. They know what to do. So I put no directions. But then the parents are like, I don't even know what you're supposed to be doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where that Parent Corner, if every day you get in the habit of writing, okay, a note to the parents to help them to understand what's going on in your class, you're going to be a better teacher because you're reflecting. That's what it's forcing you to do. You're reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to delete these.
I've got to jump out of here. Thank you so much, Alice, for your time.
Morning. Okay, we'll just start here. Here's the link. I'll put it in the chat. And I'm going to start this over, which is good because there's way too much content to get through in an hour anyway. So, oh, wait, I want to send that to everyone. And
So how many people are there online right now?
2.
2. Oh, 2 students. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere I didn't and I'll be darned if I'm watching YouTube videos. I hate watching YouTube videos for instructions. So I'm like, if I don't, I learned the hard way that if I don't put tags for the email, it emails it to everybody, where you would think it would email it to nobody, but actually it sent it out to 21,000. That was terrible. And that is how it's going to work this year, you guys. You're going to think it's going to do this, and it's not. You're going to feel like the world's biggest idiot in front of your students. And if, as we all know, if you put your first focus into building relationships, they'll be real gracious. If you want to be pompous and have a lot of like, I'm the best and I'm the king of the classroom, well, the kids are just looking to knock you down as king of the classroom. That's always been true. So start the year off with grace. That's a nice suggestion. Get this plugged in. I really like doing these webinars with you guys because you will turn on your mics and talk to me. I did 2 days in a row with 2 different groups, and it was 6 hours, and no one would use their mic for nothing. Like, they just would not. I'm like, oh, this is the longest day ever.
Oh.
I appreciate it. I just decided I don't want people to see Zoom. I like doing these with you guys. You're so nice. I'll still do it.
Are you in your new house?
I am in my new house. Okay, so Kathy, this morning at 4 a.m., I woke up in Dodge City, Kansas, and then I drove an hour and a half, and I got here around, I left at 6:30. I got here about 8:15, and I had an 8:30 appointment to have the internet set up, and then I had a 9 a.m. appointment to buy my house, and then I had a 10 a.m. webinar, which is apparently at 11 a.m. Kansas time. So I'm still not doing, I've never been great with time zones. I'm terrible with time zones. So
You're a
now
math teacher.
I do this with California time zones while I'm in Kansas. So that's my fault. So anyway, I own my house now as of 2 hours ago.
Congratulations.
You're in Fresno?
I have a house in Fresno, and now I have a house in Kansas.
Oh, okay.
Compare the prices of the homes.
You guys, I paid cash. It took 8 minutes to buy the house. Now, granted, I'm in Kansas, so the regulations are less. I had to sign 3 pieces of paper. I have a rental house in California that I'm trying to sell, and the stack of papers I had to sign with disclosures, there's no lead paint and whatever. I mean, it would take, just to say that I wanted to sell it, I had to sign a whole bunch of papers. Here, I literally was in and out in under 10 minutes. So it's a fun job.
How's the weather?
Okay, right? It's good here, but on the drive over, it was thundering and like raining crazy hard. Now I live in California and it doesn't rain. And I have my own car. I drove here from California. Wow. I don't know how to turn the windshield wipers on. That's what I learned. I don't know how to turn the windshield wipers on in my own car. Today is the most Alice day of all time. Anybody can have the world's craziest day. That is every day. And this like, yeah, I'm doing 3 webinars, now 4 because I got the time wrong, and bought a house, got the internet hooked up, drove.
So Alice, are you, this coming school year, you're teaching both in California and remotely in Kansas?
No, I'm only teaching in Kansas.
Oh, only Kansas.
So
not both. Okay.
the main thing I do is you guys.
Good, thank you.
Yes.
So I was
Are you teaching in person in Kansas, Alice?
No, I'm teaching remotely.
Nice.
So they called me. They know that I travel a lot, or I did. And they said, hey, you know, you can teach from California and Kansas. I'm like, yeah, but I want to pay taxes in Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is now my business. This is where my business is moving. And I'm going to go get a Kansas driver's license. And I'm going to live here part-time. And I'm going to live in California part-time. It'll be amazing. The amazing part is the $1.99 gas.
Wow.
So I got this new house. Like I literally just moved in. I should be pausing the recording. Cut it all out of the middle there. And there's a truck in my backyard. Like you guys have to see this. I showed the first group. There's just a truck sitting in my backyard.
Came with the house.
Yeah, I know. I called my realtor and I'm like, there's a truck in the backyard. And she's like, oh, they're going to come get it. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Fine. Whatever. But it's like, you guys want a little tour of my house? And it's a little tour. So this is this little fridge. There's no handle on the door. So I just have to like jerk it open from the side. I can put my hand through the wall. This is
Convenient when you want what's on the other side.
the whole kitchen. There is no dishwasher. By the way, for those of you who don't know, I bought the house without looking at it.
Whoa.
So, you think you've got this nice pantry here in this little tiny kitchen, but no.
Wait. Is the hat on the doorknob yours, or did it come with the house?
My son's. So this is my little living room. And of course they had wall mounted the TV, so you can see that there's now a hole in the wall. Check out this gem. There's a hole, like there's no wood floor right here. There's just some janky linoleum. Do you see what's peeling up? All right, and then so I got 2 bedrooms, or 3 bedrooms. They're real small. This is the bathroom. Now, I called my husband and I said, don't come without a shower head. Look at that. Okay, we're not living with that one. That's gone. He's driving in after me. He's still in Dodge City. This town is so small, there's no place to like buy shower curtains, nothing like that. Then it's got a bedroom here. My son's in that bedroom. That's the whole house, guys. Now you know. Okay, so let's get this party started. I'm having a crazy day. That's the way I like it. So we are getting started with remote learning. That is our topic today. We only have an hour, which means we are literally talking about started. And we will do many more webinars, giving you an opportunity to come ask questions and what are our next steps, but how are we going to get started? Now, I thought we got started an hour ago, so I am not so great with time zones. So I already did this sort of, and now I'm going to do it again. That's okay. So my first piece of advice is for you to realize that I'm in my kitchen because I can stand. Sitting is worse than smoking. If you're sitting your whole day in front of a screen, or if your students are sitting all day in front of a screen, that's not healthy. It's bad on your eyes, it's bad on your body. Get up and move. So as you make your schedule for the day, don't make your schedule be, I'm gonna work from 8 to 4. Set a 20-minute timer. Cycle. And then think about how you're going to get the kids to get up, move. They're not sitting for so long. You can't replicate the school day of doing 7 hours because no, you shouldn't be sitting in front of the screen that long. And, homeschool parents only homeschool for 4 hours a day. You know that? Yeah. There's no bell schedule. You're not going up and down the hall. You're not taking attendance. There's a lot less minutes that you need when you cut out some of this just administrative stuff we do at school. So just remember, it's not going to be the same day, and it's probably not going to be school hours. Remote learning is not online where you just come in and go wherever you want. And I don't want you to spend your whole day just because you're working from home. It doesn't mean that you now work 24/7. So you have to set your own schedule and say, okay, I'm going to work this chunk and this chunk and this chunk. And I would encourage you to think about it like that, in chunks, so that you can take a nap. Just
Alice, can I just say something? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to let you know that I hope I'm not the only one, but I'm going to be in my classroom. I'm going to have some kids at home and some kids in my classroom. So I guess it's a hybrid situation, just letting you know.
Something different. So I've been asking in my check-in, what's your school doing? And not one of you are doing the same as somebody else.
Yeah.
So there's nothing I'm going to be able to say that's going to be universal, but we're all going to be in some ways doing something digitally, which we should have been doing anyway. I've been doing it since 2000. Is having some amount of my class is digital, that students access information digitally. So we're just all doing it. And so you're right, not everything I'm gonna say is gonna be specifically relevant for you, but regardless of what your students are gonna be able to access you after hours.
And yeah, our district not sure how I'm going to handle it yet, but they're doing for high school. They are starting they have our schedule like from 8 to like 1. So I'm not sure I don't know, because we haven't met yet. Because I have high school students. They're not going to be up at 8 o'clock.
No, we all know the research says it's not good for them to be up early anyway. So if we're going to
They're not going to be there. So I guess we record whatever we have in class. Yes?
So you're going to have kids in person and kids online?
Yeah.
Yes. No, I'm not going to be able to see any of my kids for the first quarter, which is really not a good thing.
My recommendation to you is to make the majority of your stuff asynchronous.
Is what?
Majority is asynchronous. That's my suggestion.
Yeah.
All right. And then you're getting together. Why? Not so you can talk at them. You can make a YouTube video for that. You're getting together so they can talk. So you have interactions for the socio-emotional learning to do office hours. So you're setting up these times not to teach the content. I mean, all of my kids learn stuff. I have 5 kids. They learn stuff every day just watching YouTube videos. This is their norm. Now the question is how do you make these videos engaging? Because I'll tell you what, I've taken a lot of online classes and almost all of my professors don't have a clue what it means to make an engaging instructional video. They were terrible. I've had some good ones. Chris Haskell does a pretty good job. But you know what Chris Haskell does? He brings the energy, he brings props, and they're under 5 minutes. Now, I think the videos should be under 30 seconds because you can make a playlist. When you create a playlist of videos, you don't say, You don't repeat yourself. You don't pause and think about what you're going to say. Try it. Take your lesson, whatever it is that you want to tell kids. Do the whole thing in one take. First of all, you're going to mess it up and have to start over, which is really frustrating. Or you decide like you don't care that you have to start over and you let it be, oh, I dropped something on my foot and I said a curse word. Like, whatever, 20 minutes into this, so I'm going with it. I've been there. So when I do my videos in 30-second segments or 6 seconds, sometimes I creep up to 45 and I'm real embarrassed. If I have, I'm doing the proof of the quadratic frame by completing the square, it's 14 steps. That to me is 14 videos. So I don't do the whole thing at once. I like get in, I'm enthusiastic, I don't talk slowly. On the videos, they can change the speed. It drives me nuts when I see these instructional videos. It's like, first of all, there's 5 seconds of dead airspace. Hi. Today, we're going to chapter 5. No, we're not. I literally, when I was in the doctoral program, some of my instructors, they'd make videos like this. And I'm like, nope, you don't respect my time. Not watching. I don't care if I need it. Not watching that. And research shows that people decide in the first 10 seconds whether or not they're going to watch your video. So bring it. If you're going to make a video, bring a prop. Only put eyeliner on one eye. What's she going to do this time? Give them a reason to watch your video and keep it short. And short's not under 10 minutes. I see people listening. I make short videos. None of them are more than 10 minutes. You've got to be kidding me. I personally, this is my own opinion about myself, and I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'd rather poke my eye out with a stick than watch a teacher talk for 10 minutes. You're not Steven Spielberg. I want you to look at any video, movie, commercial, advertisement, TV show. How long until they change the camera angle? Every 3 seconds. Every 3 seconds. You have not been trained on how to make engaging Steven Spielberg, Hip Hughes. Hip Hughes is a history teacher who makes really great videos. Videos. And even if you were trained on it, that takes an crazy amount of time. That's what my master's is in media. My master's degree is in educational media, and I do not spend time editing videos. Holy cow. To edit a 1-minute video takes an hour. It's ridiculous. I'm like, forget it. I'm just making them short. And I make a playlist. So I want you to do this. I want you to film your entire lesson and then do it again, but say 30 seconds is my upper limit. I'll just go in like, we're doing the quadratic formula. If you breathe, stop the video. Okay, you guys, now here's the first step. The first step is it has to equal 0. It has to equal 0. You need it in standard form, baby. Standard form. Do you see how I can do that for 7 seconds? I can't sustain that for 10 minutes. If you're gonna make videos, make them short and bring it. Bring a prop. Only put eyeliner on one eye. Give them a reason to watch your video. But if I mess it up, I'm only re-recording 6 to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I put them together in a playlist. So I either add all the videos, I number them. When I save them as 01, 02, 03. Trust me on this one, because if you have more than 10, 1 in 10 alphabetized together. So just get in the habit. Just do 01, 02, 03, because numbers alphabetize like letters. So you can just add them to Google Classroom, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, and make a playlist right in the Google Classroom assignment. I like to add the videos onto Google Slides. I save my AU Screencastify, so they save to Google Drive. And then I go in and I go insert video from Google Drive. And I put on a slide. Then I go to another slide, insert video from Google Drive. Now here's something I feel really strongly about. You should never rely only on video to teach something. And never is in quotes, because sometimes I just need to like move on with my life, and that's what I can do right now. I know it's not what I want to do, but it's what I'm going to do. But I think you should always have the information in text, not only to be accessible, right? Because you technically need to transcribe and have screen captions for all of your videos, technically. But I mean, like, video takes a lot of bandwidth, and everyone's got different circumstances. They're streaming on their phone, which uses data. If you're all at school watching video, you're going to take it down. You're going to take down the Wi-Fi if everyone's watching video. Or you're trying to catch up and do schoolwork and it's noisy around you. It's not practical for you to be watching a video, even if you have headphones. So I try to make always my content also at least the gist, at least the key point. If you don't watch any of my videos, you'll still get all the content. Now, I try to be funny. I try to wear eyeliner on one eye. I try to be animated. So, you might like to watch my videos. And you oftentimes have a video bomber in the background of one of my children. What are you doing? So they're fun. But when I do it on slides, I can embed the video and I can put the text of what it says, so they don't have to watch the video. And then if I do it on slides, I can make it interactive in the sense that I could say, like, put something in this box right here. Do this and add a screenshot. So I can build my directions into Google Slides, insert the videos, insert my playlist. All my videos are 30 seconds or less. If you know none of my videos exceed 30 seconds, how much more likely are you to watch them for yourself? You guys all see I add videos. I try to keep them really short. If you know, like, oh, Keeler just keeps them, the 30 seconds. Then you're like, yeah, I'll just do this real quick. You're like, oh, I got to find 5 minutes where I'm in the mood. Those 5 minutes never come. So I try to, like, 6-second videos. Sometimes I literally just wave and just be funny. Like, hey, guys, look at my arm jiggle. Because I don't care what 14-year-olds think about me. I'm more concerned about them making fun of me because then I know they watched my video. Yes. Do that. I'm not really even making jokes right now. I literally do that. I try to put these little hidden Easter eggs in my videos where the kids are like, she's weird. That means you watched it.
Now, Alice, what if you're making a tutorial for teachers or like a video for teachers? Would you suggest the same thing?
Yes. Do you like watching a super long tutorial video?
No, I don't.
There you go. There's the answer to your question. Would you like to see a Google Slides where the videos are embedded in there and you had all the information you needed, where you only needed to watch the video if you're like, I don't get it?
Now, when you embed the steps on the slide, how do you do that? Like you have the video and then right next to it, you just type the steps out?
Yeah. You see, I do this a lot with my Google Sites.
Okay.
So, I mean, you've seen my instructional things.
Right.
I almost never, in all of my online workshops, I almost never say the video is the instruction. There's a couple circumstances where, like, I'm having a crazy day, I just need to make this video and get it posted. And I feel bad about it, and I always intend to go back and redo it so it's in text. The video, to me, enhances. It puts your personality in it, makes it more interesting. But when you're trying to skim and find that one piece of information, you don't want to go back and look at the video. You're like, oh yeah, the text is really helpful.
Yeah, I just noticed just now on your group chat, you have the Google Docs presentation. Is it in here twice or is there two of them?
In there twice because as people join, they don't have the previous chat.
So am I supposed to click on that and save that or what?
You need to save it, but I got on a rant about video that I didn't mean to get onto. Someone asked me something. What I'd like you to do is whenever you get together in a video chat, always have a Google Slides, always. They can just be blank. And the reason is I'm going to give them edit access to the slides.
Okay.
I'm going to give them edit access to the slides. So I have actually customized my layouts. What you'll notice that I've done is I've made my presentation slides as layouts so that we can structure this as a conversation. Instead of me talking at you, I'm going to talk with you. So I have this participant slide. If you want to add a slide and tell me what's your situation for this coming up fall. I mean, I know we said it verbally a little bit, but why don't you add a slide? Now, if you click on the tiny triangle, you can find the yellow layout. But if you didn't, you know what I do is while people are typing is I just change the layout. I'm like, I wanted you to use this one. I'm waiting for you to respond anyway. So I just go in and I just move things that I need to move and reset, you know.
What's a dojo?
Dojo is Class Dojo. It's a classroom management tool.
Is it an app?
It is an app. It's not very student-centered, so that's my beef with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is what I want, is when we get together, we should not be getting together to do what you can do on YouTube. Make videos, and I already told you, make them short videos. Make sure that information is also available in text. And then when you get together, it should be to interact. How are you doing? A socio-emotional check-in. I make one Google Slides, and like add a slide and tell me how you're doing. Add a slide, write a sentence with a improper verb. I don't even know what that is. I made that up. But, you know, like, we're going to interact together. You guys are going to do stuff. I treat it like a whiteboard. And you can use Jamboard and some of these other things, but I think Google Slides has some nice advantages. Jamboard, you can only do 20 pages. But then with this, I can drag pictures in more easily. I can add text boxes more easily than I can with the Jamboard. And even though Jamboard does save to Google Drive, what's nice about this is you can have this saved in Google Drive. So even if you are only meeting with one student, I still want you to make a Google Slides and give them edit access, because you guys can take notes and share resources and collaborate during your video chat. So I want you
I don't know how to get in there. I'm going to be, I see everybody's doing something. I don't know how to get in there.
All right, if you click on the link in the chat, are you able to get in?
Here are the Google Slides.
You see the plus sign above all the slides on the left? There's a little plus sign. Click the plus sign.
You're gonna add a slide.
Is it what's on my screen or what the link is going to take me to?
Stan, maybe the Zoom puts you in full screen.
Yeah.
So you're gonna wanna like go out of full screen mode.
Okay.
And then the Zoom has an option for chat. If you click on chat, that's where you'll see where I put the link.
Yeah, I'm on chat. I have that one. It just wipes my whole screen and
I like Google Meet better. I mean, they all have their pluses and minuses. I'm gonna try next week to do a couple of them with Google Meet instead of Zoom, and we'll see if it's better or not. I thought it went pretty good yesterday. I did a Google Meet about Google Meets. So I'm like, I like this. I was able to join on my phone real easy because it's right on my calendar. I don't know. I liked it. Okay.
yeah, coming up.
Don't stress about it. But what you'd want to do though is if I make it in Google Classroom, I just add the slides into Google Classroom and I say students can edit, is that middle option. And then they can find the slides really easy. You don't have to worry about them having to find them in the chat. I mean, I do link to them in the chat also. And what I love about using Google Slides when we get together in a video meeting is I can click present and I can just present all your words and your ideas. And then this whole thing becomes about us instead of about me and my slides. So a synchronous, asynchronous model. Some are gonna be at home, some are gonna be in the classroom with me, 100% distance. The kids are gonna sit 6 feet apart. I'm sure that's totally gonna happen in middle school. Someone's genius on that one. I'm glad I don't have to make these decisions. I don't have any stones to throw. There's no right answer. There's no right answer. We're gonna start remotely, maybe. And that's what I hear a lot. We're like, well, we think this is what we're doing. So basically the name of the game is be prepared to do anything. So my solid advice to you, don't stress. It is completely unfair that you should redo your entire curriculum, that you should teach face-to-face and online and, you know, fight a T-Rex. Someone tweet that. I love that tweet. You know, no, you being stressed out and wanting to quit does no one any good. I want you to do your best and be okay that you didn't do everything. Just be okay with it. What you feel is reasonable is what you should do. If you're like, I can't keep up with this, this is too much, back down. You know what? We're all going to be fine. No matter if you care about your students and you make a point of checking in with them and you're like, how are you feeling? If you care about them, that's the first place to start. And if that's all they get, then they got something. Okay, now, what is reasonable? What are you able to do? Do that. Don't feel pressured. You know, if you want to make a Bitmoji classroom, awesome. I've been saying this all along. I'm not going to make one. So if anyone wants permission not to, I'm not going to make one. But if you made one, I'm going to give you a high five. And if you decorated your classroom really super cute and I didn't, like my regular classroom, same thing, right? My classroom's not what I put on the walls. It's how I interact with students and the learning environment that I create. So if you're like, I don't have time for that, or I just don't want to. I mean, when I go to a wedding or something, I literally take it in the Amazon box that it came because it's wrapped in the Amazon box. I'm just not like that. I don't like to do cutesy things.
Talking about the smoking
Apple. I do not.
Alice, there's something weird going on.
Yes.
The ability to mute if you're able to. Just do a mute all, and then everybody just unmute if it wasn't you making noise. So, I mean, just like we're waiting to hear. I hear this a lot. Okay, so at the very last minute, you're going to have to like know how to do everything. That's ridiculous. No. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on how I'm going to interact with students. How am I going to check in on them? How am I going to give some feedback at some level? And I'm going to keep it reasonable. And then I'm going to look you in the eye right now. You are not going to cover all of your curriculum. You're not. Okay. Woo, now I feel better. Okay. It's not a rat race. I mean, we already had that problem where I was stressed out trying to cover all my curriculum without being in this insane situation where we're all building the plane as we go. You know what? Don't worry about it. Today, this is what I was able to do. Then today, you did awesome. Half in the classroom, half in an auditorium. It's going to be real interesting to see what pans out here. To see something different. So for me and other people who are trying to provide like resources, here's how you do it. And good luck. You know, I'm doing my best. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my presentation because I have built my slides in the slides layout. This workshop, webinar is not about this. I've done it before and I'll do it again. I go to the view menu and master, and I edited the layout. So I'm going to leave it at that. And another time I'll do a webinar on that again, because I've done them before. So I want to know, how are you going to build community and relationships? That's what we should be thinking about first. So if you could add a slide, I'm going to add a slide. How are you going to do community and relationships?
What is swap shared screen with video? What does that mean?
Where does it say that?
I just looked at the little icon thing at the top of my screen here.
Zoom feature.
I'm on an iMac.
Yeah, but I'm using Zoom. This meeting is in Zoom. And it has a lot of features, and I think that's part of the things I don't like about it is it's too much. Like, I don't know what these things are.
So, do you suggest we do Google Meets for kids? Because this is the biggest part. I have no problem with curriculum instruction. My biggest thing is I do not know how to do any of this stuff.
I'm gonna do some more on that one. I did a webinar earlier on using Google Slides for distance learning, and honestly, I just need to make a workshop on it because there's so. I mean, basically, you could use Google Slides for everything on it. It'd be for real. So in fact, that was one of my questions I had in the webinar that I did earlier that I'm gonna do again because the video corrupted and I wasn't able to post that. But what can you not use slides for? And I was being sassy because I'm gonna tell you how you can. So slides are a great tool. So not in this one, but another time, I'll show you how to create up this collaborative slides to use during a video chat. But yeah, the first thing is Dan, I would practice with just doing some video chats with some friends, just getting more comfortable with whatever platform you're using. If it's Zoom, do some Zooms with friends. If it's Meet. I personally find it real stressful to be in a video chat and not know what I'm doing. I feel that people are just sitting there watching me. My opinion. That's how I feel. Okay. I'm working one-on-one with students with reading. So, are you able to set up appointment calendars and meet with students in small groups or one-on-one? Google Calendar is awesome for that. You can actually literally just go to calendar.google.com. And when you select, where's this on here? Let me do that again, it went too fast. Okay, when I single click on it, you see it gives me an option for appointment slots. You can set up 15-minute, so I can like, when do this from 9:30 to 11:30 appointment slots, and I want them to just be 15 minutes. It'll automatically set up 15-minute things that kids can sign up with you. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep doing this same webinar with the same title-ish, and just maybe do part 2, part 3, because I could talk all day with different ideas for this. And especially since we all have different circumstances. So count on this. I'm going to do it again and keep doing it. Yeah, I get to start off with the kids. That's going to help out a lot, obviously. Breakout rooms, interview each other. Good. That's a great idea. Like that first week, don't think about your curriculum. Now, the book, Mathematical Mindsets don't not think about it, but don't, like, that's not the first thing to think about. In the book, Mathematical Mindsets by Jo Boaler, she says, only in math do we give a test the first day of school. And I'm nervous that now more than just math is going to do that, because we've had, the 3 months of whatever the heck happened at the end of the year, plus summer, and we just want to know where they're at right now. Like, where do I even pick up? Resist the urge. Make them want to come back tomorrow. Don't forget that. They're going to join in today, the first day of school. How do you make sure they want to join you tomorrow? Take that first week to do things that are fun. I have a slide on this. Somewhere. Yeah, that was my second slide. If you think about game design, if you start playing Angry Birds, even my 1-year-old wins the first level, the first time. You fling the bird, it goes. So I want you to think about your class in terms of game design, is that in games, success builds success. If you start a new game and you die right away, like, this is too hard, I don't want to play this. It builds. When I play World of Warcraft, when I do my first quest, I go kill a bunch of pigs or something, and then I have to go turn it back in. I immediately level up. Now I'm level 2. By the end of the day, if I play all day and my husband brings me food and I don't pee, I can get up to level 14 in one day. Okay, well, now I'm level 86, and I need 8 million XP to get to level 87. It's going to take me a year, mostly because I don't play. But I cannot level up in one day. I cannot. At first I need 450 XP to get to the next level. Now I need 8 million. Why am I not discouraged? Because I have 86 levels of success. So I really want to encourage you, the first week is, what are small wins that every student could do? And they get success, and then you have them do something else. They find success. You're building relationships with them. Find some ways to give feedback quickly. This is going to be the killer, because fast feedback is essential. Essential. The longer the gap between a student finishing something and them getting feedback, the less they care. And honestly, it's after 3 days, they're getting hostile about it. So my trick is, I do less of my class that requires that I interact with it. Do less, get more. I have that on here. Do less, get more. Honestly, a chunk of your class is busy work. No one thinks their class is busy work, but some of it is. Be honest with yourself. I'll be honest with myself. Some of my stuff, if they never did it, really, would it matter? Really? They don't. If I tested them in the fall, would they remember it? Well, then it didn't matter. cut some stuff down and keep your focus on fewer things, but doing a really good job that you pounce on the feedback. And then I want part of your class to be self-paced. Not all of it, but some of it's going to have to be self-paced. Remember, this is not an online class. And honestly, never were we able to, everyone learns the same thing on the same day and we all turn in our learning the same day, the same way. That was never good for learning. We did that because of logistics. Without a digital tool, it is nearly impossible to be flexible. But here's what I do. In Google Classroom, I go to the settings cog, and I'm going to scroll down here, and I make sure that my classwork on the stream says show attachments and details. And I know this is a hotly debated thing that you should do. And I will argue that the reason why people want to hide the notifications is because they don't understand that the stream is not intended to communicate your class. You can't organize it. You can't organize the stream. So then it's not your class website. You need a class website. You have to have one. How are you?
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble. I had a lot of trouble with that because the assignments are in one place and the stream is in another. The students saw the stream as a new assignment. And so they were thinking there were assignments in both lanes.
Yeah.
And I had a really hard time telling the students. And then all of this is linked to School Loop. So now it looks like 3 separate assignments for one assignment. It was really confusing for my students.
So Dan, now that you know that happens, there's several things that we have learned that we know that happens. We know kids will just turn stuff in without actually doing it. We know they
Yes, yes. And if you have nothing there to grade, yeah.
Yeah, we do that all the time. We know that when I do collaborative slides, when I put them all on the same slides, that they're going to delete each other's work. That will happen. It will happen.
And the first person that does it, that was the first mistake I did. The first student that did it basically had the answers for everybody else because they typed on my copy.
It's okay.
Because I didn't make a copy for each student. So that was something I learned.
We've all done that. The learning process. I started this new newsletter service that I didn't understand how it works, and I thought I was just saving it, and I accidentally sent it to 18,000 people.
Yeah.
Whoops. Now I know how that works.
That was last year, yeah.
And that's going to be this year too. It's going to be this year, and it's never going to go away. I mean, like, honestly, Dan, do you know anybody more techie than me?
No.
No.
I don't.
Stupid webinar starts. Give yourself more grace. You're not dumb. You're not incompetent. You're not slow. All of this stuff just takes time, and it's constantly new. It is constantly new. Even if you're using stuff you always use, it updates and becomes different. You know what's going to happen? What's your first day of school, Diane?
17th. 17th.
I'm going to predict, based on Murphy's Law, that on the 18th, Google Classroom comes out with a whole bunch of new updates.
Yeah.
Right? First of
Yeah,
all,
I had to actually buy new.
they will come, we know for a fact, they do it every year, they will come out with new updates in the fall. And consistently, they always do it after school starts. Every single year. So I have no reason to think, well, first of all, we don't have them right now, so we're pretty much in a situation that we know these updates are going to come probably October. I have literally no knowledge. But I do know they're always working to add features, and I do know they always release them around school time. So Dan, what's going to happen is you're going to have all your stuff set up, and then they're going to drop a bomb on you, and all your stuff's in. You're like, now what? That is going to happen. I'm here for you. We will share a bottle of wine together. That's probably about the best I can do. No, I'll give you advice. But you just need to like have more grace. It's not you. You're not dumb. You're not slow. It's just a lot. And there's no substitute for, it takes time. Now I teach math. It's really the same, right? Two trains leave the station at 1 o'clock. One going east at 50 miles per hour and the other one's going west at 60 miles per hour. At what time are they 85 miles apart? Okay, I got to teach that to a bunch of 14-year-olds. Guess how that goes? To be honest, I never get them there. It's just like, that math problem is so hard that, you know, Far Side makes jokes about it. But, you know, that is going to happen. And, you know, the only thing that we can control is how we approach it. And you're like, I'm just going to figure it out and I'm going to mess it up and the kids are going to learn with me. I'm going to apologize. Whoops, well, I thought it did this, but it did that. Now, once you learn that lesson, you know that they're going to go to the classwork page. They're going to go to the stream and not do anything on the classwork page. Okay?
Yes.
I have several tricks around that. The first is I start the year hammering the classwork page. I start it that way. I predict they're going to do these things, and I'm going to do some things to try. I'll probably fail. I'm going to try.
And there's no way to shut off when you create an assignment in classroom or classwork. There's no way to shut that off from the stream.
Yeah, and you can go here to hide notifications, and I'm telling you not to. I'm trying to convince you otherwise.
Oh, okay.
So I said it's hotly debated. And the reason is because just what you said is we're trying to use the stream when it's never designed to use the stream. The stream is your Facebook. Don't forget, this is the social space. So what I want you to do is I want you to show attachments and details. And then what I want you to do is on here, you're going to say, go to the classwork page every day. Literally every single day, you're going to make an announcement on the stream that says, go to the classwork page.
Yeah.
And then I already did this, so I'm going to hit cancel. And then I put my agenda. Now, my best tip is to number your assignments.
Yeah.
It just makes it real clear, because if I'm trying to match the titles, like, oh, not that warm up, the other warm up. Forget it. Okay, it's just do number 7 and number 8. Now we all know what we're doing. We're all on the same page. And when I give feedback, I let them know. Okay, this is just something for me to post every day. It's not my web page. You should have a web page. This isn't it. And I try to always make a video, even if it's 2 seconds, where I just wave. It is essential with digital tools that they feel like they have a teacher.
Yes, I agree.
Put your Bitmoji in there, or put literally just wave. Hi guys. Anything. Put a selfie. Picture of you and your dog. Anything that you post on Facebook that you think is appropriate to share with your students, post one of those on there. They should see you as a real person sometimes.
Yes.
You know? And so I'm going to post this every day, not because I think they're going to read my agenda, but because I'm going to remind them every day to use the classwork page. I'm going to organize this. And I can click the 3 dots to copy the link to that announcement, because it's going to get moved down. So I'm not going to stress about that. It's going to get moved down, because I want to encourage my students to use this as social space. I want them to share about their weekend. I want them to post a picture of their dog. I mean, I want you to think about those 3 minutes before class where the kids are all like, I made slime this weekend. I got in the carpet. I got in trouble. Right? And you overheard it. I won't talk to you. But it's those little things where you now have some sort of a connection with them and know something to talk about. And it shapes your lesson. When you're teaching, you're like, I know some of you like slime. And it's just those little things you heard them talking about with their friends. Not even necessarily they shared with you. I need that. So I'm trying to think of a clever name, because, it's not Motivation Monday. Like every Monday, I want them to just post something that they feel comfortable sharing Now, high school students, you say, who wants to put something appropriate from their Instagram? Oh my gosh, you have made their day.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, share your favorite YouTuber video that's appropriate.
Yeah, because they need to get used to that stream as being something other than, because there's other things I've done in stream is put, they're more like extra resource videos or support material for them, but it's not an assignment.
Don't do that. Make it, and those make the materials on the classwork page and organize it in there. I'll show you how I did that. Treat this like Facebook. Understand that it's going to move. So since you can't organize it, you can't put resources there thinking they'll see it.
Yeah. So that needs to go in classwork.
When I'm reading the news and I find this article, I'm like, oh, this is a good example of the quadratic formula. It's not an assignment. We did the quadratic formula weeks ago. It doesn't, but I'm excited because there's some news thing I want to share with them. I put that into the stream. If they never see it, I don't care. I'm just trying to share some things. This is your social space. This is how you keep them from getting their scholarships to Harvard revoked. Because you're not born out of the womb knowing how to interact on social media. So how are you going to teach your kids social media? You signing up for TikTok? I don't think so. Hey guys, on your homework assignment this week, I want you to make a TikTok video. I'm not doing that. I might give them an option to if they have a TikTok and their parents okay with it. I ain't signing it. Everyone makes a TikTok. I'm not doing that. How am I going to teach my kids how to behave appropriate online if I don't actively ask them to behave online? And I expect that it will be a disaster. And that doesn't tell me I should turn it off. It tells me I should do it more. Because now I call mom, call the kid, like, hey, first of all, I deleted it. That's not the kind of stuff you can put on social media. That's how you're going to get your scholarship revoked to Harvard. And no one learns their lesson the first time, just so you know. But every time a kid posts something inappropriate, I'm like, yes, yes. Because today I get to help them be a better human being. If I don't let them, they're doing it. They're just not doing it where I can see it. All 5 of my kids are on social media, even the 7-year-old just turned 8. So I love that. So anyway, I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to put it on here. I'm not going to assume anything I put on the stream. I do not expect that they'll see it. So put that attitude in your mind. I don't expect that they'll see it. I'm going to copy that link. Now, where do I want them to get my information? So I create a class website, and your class website, by the way, can just be a Google Slides. You build it in reverse order. So you have Monday is slide 2 and Tuesday is slide 1. And when I do Wednesday, I move that up. So the new information is always at the top. Your class website can just be a Google Slides if you want to start easy. It could be a Wix, it could be a Weebly, it could be a WordPress. I don't care, you need something. And then I say, click here for today's agenda. And that's just to bring them. So you notice I linked to that agenda post in the stream. This doesn't move. That link doesn't move. Unlike in the stream where my agenda moves, it's here. You couldn't find it on the stream? No problem, because I linked to it. Now remember, parents don't go looking into Google Classroom, they have to log in. So having a class website allows parents and students to know what they're doing without logging in.
Okay.
Having a class website allows you to do a parent corner. Okay, left side, this is what students are doing today. Right side, parents, this is what I need you to know. It could be a Google Slides, it could be a Google Sites, it could be a Wix, it could be a Weebly. I don't know, MySpace. Bye, Lisa. So the last I'm going to do is I think we're probably out of time. Got 3 minutes. I'm going to show you how I spend my day. And I've only barely touched the surface of what we need to cover just because there's a lot. We'll do this again and we'll keep going. I enjoy interacting with my students. I do not enjoy doing paperwork. So at the end of the day, what brings me joy is to sit down and see how I can interact with my students. So I scroll the stream and I'm looking for if anyone left me a class comment. Oh, okay, got this one, no class comment. Do you see how when I show attachments and details, they see the whole thing? Because out of sight is out of mind. That's part of the problem with the classwork page. When here's the thing, Diane, when I say go to Google Classroom, I don't do that. I go to the classwork page and I copy the link at the top of the classwork page. And so I tell them on my website, go to the classwork page, and I link them to the classwork page. I don't link them to the stream. I don't say go to Google Classroom because Google Classroom will dump them in the stream.
Okay.
I give them the link to the classwork page. Or I give them the link to the topic. So here's this week's topic. And by the way, do your stuff in weeks. In order to be flexible, plan for the week. Maybe have 1 or 2 things they have to do today. So I have a today topic. But then I have a chunk of stuff to do for the week, so it's more flexible. So you can on the 3 dots copy the link to the topic. So I might link them straight to the topic of the week or the topic of today, or I link them to the classwork page, but I'm directing them all the time here.
So
now, hold on. So what I do is at the end of the day, I scroll and I'm looking for any class comments. I encourage them to share Facebook-like posts. I ask them to, I make it an assignment. Say, if you feel comfortable, why don't you tell me what you're excited about for the summer? If you feel comfortable, tell me what you did this weekend. If you feel comfortable, tell me about your pets. Notice I always throw the feel comfortable part. Because there's a good lesson to teach kids, not to overshare. You know, just because you did it, you don't actually have to put it on social media. You don't have to. You know what I'm talking about. You got these friends. So, you don't want this. You want to see a picture of them riding their bike. You want to see their like little note saying, I'm freaking out about it. And then I'm going through. And if you don't have attachments and details shown, you can't see the class comments. You might.
okay.
So for this reason, I treat it like social space, and I encourage them to find the assignment on the stream so that we can ask questions and conversate about it. So I'm scrolling down, looking for assignments, looking for comments. Look at this. We're making comments together. Of course, you know, he was talking about her, so no surprise. Anyway, I come to this assignment. It says 1 assignment's turned in. Pounce on that, you guys. I pounce on that. I don't wait till all 106 people have turned it in. Because the longer the gap between finishing something and getting feedback, the less you care.
I think if the students can see this, they can also see that other students are successful and have actually done the work. Possibly prompts them to do it as well.
I see, this is teacher view. They're not going to see the counts.
But really?
And I click on the count, and I go in and I give feedback. You have to return everything. So I click on the student, and you have to return everything. And since I've already returned it, I'm going to grab the comment that I previously gave, and I just copy and paste it. I don't wait for everybody. I had to do that with paper. I don't do it with Google Classroom. I go back to the stream and I keep scrolling. I'm looking for comments. I'm looking to see if anyone did any work. Now, my last tip for you is to make a new Google Classroom every unit or every grading period, because then you can archive the old one and I don't have to keep scrolling forever. So, because when I reuse assignments, I don't have to scroll through all the assignments to find the one I want to reuse. It's a shorter list.
Alice, do you have trouble getting the kids to sign into a new classroom?
Nope.
I had trouble with that in the spring. It was,
And I'm going to be honest with you, I will go to their house. Let me, you know, we all have kids who don't do anything. I'll show up for dinner.
oh, that sounds scary.
I'm like, hey, if you don't want to do any work, I'll just come over to your house for dinner. I've threatened kids with that before. No, but seriously, I do. I get in my car and I normally knock on the door and shake their hand, but my total plan this year, any kids who aren't engaging, I'm driving to their house. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm not telling you to do it. This is what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna back way the heck up and knock on their door and back up 10 feet. You don't want me to show up at your house? Oh. Well, here's how you're gonna get in. But, I call. And if they ain't working, I show up at their house. That's what I do. But for the most part, no, I don't have any problem with them getting into the new one, because what I'm going to do is on the old one, I post, hey, number, just continue the numbering, just continue it. Keep going, no repeats. I'm like, number 106 is in the other classroom. Here's the code to join if you're not in there. You can also just copy and paste your whole roster and invite them in. It's really wicked simple. You literally can copy and paste the entire set of email addresses all at once. You don't have to do it one at a time. But then I have a Google Classroom, I have a Google Site or Slides or a Weebly or WordPress or whatever website. My classroom is my website. And I want them to start there and then go to Google Classroom. So I link from my site to the classwork page. Yeah.
I'm thinking of Google Classroom as my hub, but I should think of it as a Google Sites as my hub.
You can't be there face to face. So now you got to create your classroom. You got to insert your Bitmoji, not make it a whole Bitmoji classroom. I mean, you can. I'm not telling you not to, but I'm just saying don't feel obligated. You do need to feel obligated that you feel like you're creating some sort of a classroom space that's visual. So I literally just copy paste my Bitmoji onto Google Slides. I fire up Screencastify and I'm just like, hey guys, it's Monday. Let me explain what we're gonna do today. And I embed that in there and I have a spot to explain it to parents. I mean, we should always do that even during the regular, whatever normal means. And now how much more important where I really need them to help me.
Do you have a webinar teaching how to use Google Sites?
I do. In fact, I've got one, I think, this week. And of course, I got a bunch of YouTube videos. AliceKiddo.com/YouTube. All right. Well, I'm just gonna keep this as a reoccurring topic. And we'll just get together and try and breathe together, because it's a lot. You're not gonna learn it all in an hour. In fact, what you should have gotten out of this is one thing. I gave you what, 20, maybe 5. Take the one, and then you're like, hey, you did this before. Can we do it again? Yeah, we can. Okay. I take requests, so make sure that you fill out the check-in Google form every week. Because it's from these webinars where I hear, like, what are you having trouble with? It's from people checking in. That's how I decide what webinars I do next week. Mimi, you're off.
Okay, can you hear me now? So you have a Google Sites webinar this week?
It's not this week. It's, let me look. I'm either like thinking it or I already scheduled it.
Because I think I decided not to do it, but I've changed my mind after this. Yeah.
I have scheduled for Sunday to do the badge game and for Saturday to do auto scoring your assignments. So I plan on, I've already made the realization we need to do a Google Sites one. I already realized that. So I will pick a day and time. Unless you want to give me a day and time, and I'll just schedule it right now.
Saturdays and Sundays are best for me.
I did notice that I had a lot more people on the weekend. So
Especially now that school's starting, right?
that's what I'm trying to figure out is once school starts, when should I do these webinars? Because I've been just doing them whenever, wherever, because I'm trying to hit time zones. And I have some people literally in China and other countries, so I try to mix it up. But once school really gets going, I think I'm gonna have to be more strategic. So
Is there like a blog site that you maybe collaboratively that we can, I mean, unfortunately, like you say, it's gonna happen, but if we can kind of learn from each other's, oh, I did this and it worked, and I did that and it didn't work, here was my mistakes. What's that?
on Facebook.
Am I on Facebook? Yeah.
So I have a Facebook group. Can I link you to that?
Sure.
Let me.
Because it's better to like find out from somebody, here's the mistake that I made. Like, I think the streaming and the thing is, all of those were linked together. The School Loop Gradebook and Google and the stream and the classwork. So my kids, and I would beat it in their heads, your assignments are in classwork, and they still, so I had to independently go back to each student that were doing all the work.
And are you using topics on the classwork page?
Yes.
Okay. Do your topic. I want you to do these topics. It's respond to feedback as your one at the top. Today goes underneath it. And then the week. And so I want you to organize the topics by week. The older it is, the farther down the list it goes.
Yeah, I know.
So you're gonna, you can, for the week, you can click the 3 dots and copy the topic link, the link to the whole topic. And so you're trying to get them, you don't tell them to go to classwork, you give them the link to classwork, you give them the link to the topic, you give them the link to the assignment. That's my tip.
And the other thing is, somewhere I saw you saying, and I wanted to, before you leave today, because I'm taking 2 different classes from you.
Yeah.
One is more like for, because obviously I've worked with Google Classroom, but I've done it very, what would you call, simple and rudimentary.
If I could just say, I have my own way of doing things. So Barbara,
but what I'm saying is, what is introductory to you may not be introductory to me. So I'm taking both classes, which means the emails that I'm getting from you for assignments is a bit overwhelming. You were saying how to organize your email in another?
Yes. So that's a whole separate webinar that we have to do. Just remember, all of these are limited to an hour. So then we just got to.
Okay. Because I need to be able to put all of you in one file so I can find all my assignments.
So what I do is I filter all of my emails that come from Google Classroom. I filter them so they don't hit the inbox. I don't see them. They're in a folder. Then I go check the folder. But I mean, really, I want the notifications so that I know that assignments have come through. But I'll just go over to Classroom and see if there's assignments there. They're organized on the classwork page.
Okay.
So let's start with that. I got 100,000 tips for you. Let's start with, you are going to this year link to the classwork page. when you send the students an email, when you are communicating, go to Google Classroom, you never tell them go to Google Classroom. You're on the classwork page, you copy the link at the top of the classwork page, and you always 100% of the time include that link.
Right.
And then it drives them there. You're gonna have a website. The website does not say go to Google Classroom. No, the website says click here. It goes to the classwork page. That's our first goal. We're gonna start with that one. Okay?
Okay.
It's good to see you guys. I'm gonna
Thank
go
you.
to Kansas for a little bit. And then I'm gonna
Thanks, Alice.
try and get some furniture. I'm done right now. Bye, you guys.